with a PTFE coupler, the exact same part but just made of a different material. That had a tendency to wear out quite quickly. You'd get scorch marks like you can see here, and this would cause a slight lip and cause a bit of friction on the filament passing through, which will give you under extrusion and not really help with printing at all. And the newer TFM lasts a lot longer, but it is still a consumable part, so you may get to the point where you want to change one of these over, and we'll show you how to do that now. So the first thing you'll need to do is make sure that the filament is removed and the power is turned off, and you'll need an Allen key, and that is it for this job. The first thing we'll do is remove this little blue clip here that holds the Bowden tube in place, and then push down on the collar, which will release it. We'll just bring that over to one side. Then we're just going to unscrew these 4 long screws that run down the whole length of the head. And you can see that it's starting to loosen up now. So just support the bottom, and you can completely remove these 4. Now you're going to want to remove the fan bracket, and there are just 2 screws either side. Again, the same Allen key required. Be careful not to lose them. Just put them down somewhere safe. And when you're doing this, just be careful not to catch any of the wires, because they will be exposed a little bit now. So you don't want to pull on anything too hard. Okay, and once those screws are removed, the fan bracket should come away, and you can just put that to one side. And then that gives you access to this block here. And you can see the TFM coupler here. This is what we want to change over. So the final screws that we're going to need to remove are just on the top. And on the Ultimaker 2, there is actually a spring in this position here. So when you remove these two screws, you might find that it pops off. So just be careful. On the 2 Plus, that isn't the case, so it should be fine. So now we can remove this top piece. You can see the TFM coupler here. It's worth just inspecting it for any damage, and it'll be quite secure, so you might need a bit of encouragement to get it off. So just take time with it, and be careful not to damage it. And you can see actually on R1 here, a tiny little bit of wear. There's a small lip on the TFM coupler. So, I mean, really that'd probably be fine for a bit longer, but we'll change this over, put a fresh one on. So you bring in your brand new TFM coupler, and just in the reverse of what you've just done, insert that into the block here, just like that. Then bring in the top section of this plate, and if you can see here, mine's not quite matching up, so the TFM's not fully inserted. So just push it down until these 2 parts meet. Then bring in the screws and tighten those up. Okay, so now we'll just reattach the fan bracket. So just line up those holes there. And then bring in your screw. And it's a little bit fiddly to get these in. Just want to make sure you don't drop them. You want to make sure that these screws are fairly tight. Obviously don't over-tighten them, but if they're loose, the fan bracket will vibrate under the movement of the fans, and that'll make a bit of a racket when you're printing. Right, so once the bracket's fitted, we just need to realign these plastic sections here. You can see they all slot into each other, and you want the cables to just run up the back in the centre, and then this top piece faces that way. Then once you've got it held in position, just bring back in your thumb screws here and slot them all the way down. It's useful to get one in first, don't fully tighten it, just to hold it in place. And then you can bring in the others one at a time. And again with this, don't over tighten them, you don't want to crack the casing, just until you feel that everything's nice and secure. And then the final thing left to do is to reinsert the Bowden tube, and you need the white collar here to be sitting flush, to just hold it down while you insert the tube, make sure it's pushed all the way down. And you can usually tell because there'll be a few small little perforations where it's been gripped before, and if you've got any of these exposed, you know that it hasn't been inserted fully. Then once it's in, it should lift up and give you the space to insert the blue clip here, and that just clips in under there to hold it in place and lock everything. And there you go, that's all ready to print again. You can load your material, and you should have a nice clean extrusion. Okay, so that's the TFM coupler fitted, and that should solve any extrusion problems that you might be having. If you've got any questions about this process, just leave them in the comments section below. And if you'd like to buy one, you can do so by following this link.